the committee that I have, I've been working on the committees. And, the Mount Carmel Recreation and Churchill and Sigourneville Recreation Committee, I have, put in, if you'll stand when I say your name, Jeff Gray and Mindy Fleshour and myself. And the reason I put these two in, all summer long, they have had ball games up here. And they have worked hard. Jeff has drug the fields and all that and took part in all of cleaning up there. And Mindy and him both are ball coaches and everything. So that's the reason that I put them in. So do I have a motion to accept these? This recommendation?
I'll make a motion for that.
Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor, do I have to say
I
it
got
every
some
time?
discussion on that.
Okay,
All members that's appointed to that are appointed for 4 years. And Pat, I'm sorry to tell you, but you can't serve on that board. You can
yes I can, because number one, I
Listen.
talked to Josh,
You can observe on it. I've got the paperwork right here.
I talked to
I'll
Josh
see.
and he talked to Dennis Steele, and he said yes. And I could,
Right here's the
that I was the,
I will share them with you if you'll let me. Each joint rec, which would be each of the three, will appoint 3 citizens, is what it says. And then you come on down here and it says you can have 1 staff employee participating in a municipality may be designated to serve as a voting member on that committee. So you're allowed 1 alderman, because
there she is.
if you put 2 on it, you don't have any officers within your committee. If all boards put 2 people on it.
Josh called me the other day, and that's the guy that Dennis Steele has over the job.
And as far as that goes, I was on the board, and I have not served my 4 year.
He
And
said it was my discretion to have that.
the only way
to do
that you can be removed from a board is by resignation, death, or change of residence.
Well, Josh told me, and he had Dennis Steele's guidance, and I told you and everybody else that on the night that I appointed, that I was fixing to do committees.
You told that after we left.
No, I did not.
It's not in the minutes,
But
it's not in the
anyway,
recording.
when did you hear it?
The day of the meeting.
Okay, at the meeting. Thank you. Anybody else hear that?
I've got a question for you.
Well, let me get this done first.
It's
Because I had 5 people to come to me after that meeting and say they would like to be
Well, I
on
was
board.
on the board and would have liked to stay on the board, and if I'd have heard that you was wanting recommendations that night, I would have let you know, but.
And I said to
I'm
call
not-
me.
I'm
I
not
said
hurt
even to
over
call
that.
me.
I just want
Well,
you,
I'm sorry, but you'll have to go through another chain. Call Dennis Steele or call,
I don't have
Josh
to go
down
through no
there.
chain of nothing. I'm just making a point here.
well, I'm
I've
just
got
making
it
a point
black and
back
white.
to you, and it's closed.
I've got the ordinance that
And
Mount
I'm the
Carmel
mayor,
passed.
and I can appoint those. They told me in Churchill
Nobody
at that
says you
meeting.
can't appoint.
Well, I'm just telling you, right now, it's done already settled, and, I have, they've got it approved down there, and so therefore,
They don't have to approve it.
they have to tell me that I can do that. That's what I'm saying about approved. So, this is what I've done. He's worked, she's worked, and I'm
I'm
gonna be on it
I'm
too.
not saying
What is
anything
your
about
say?
anybody that's wanting to be
I'm
on.
going to make a motion to board this until next month.
We
Table it
can't,
till
we've
next
gotta
month.
have it done. It's going to be done.
Well, you know, you may have to open it back up. I'm just telling you,
So, well, no, I'm not.
you will. It's a rule
So,
decision. dude.
Now, wait a minute, this is controlled by the board, Pat. Quit trying to dictate what
I'm
goes
not
on here.
dictating. I'm
It's
just
what
telling
this
you
board
what I'm
votes
I'm
on
going to the guidelines that they told me
Is the
down
way it
there.
goes.
Okay, we need to take a vote. Anybody, want to?
Hold on, Stephen, is that the interlocal agreement that you're talking about?
Yes, it's on the it's the ordinance.
Can you just give it to me?
Yeah.
I would come get it.
That replaced,
I went by exactly what they told me in
109, I
Churchill.
think.
So our municipal code reads that pursuant to the TCA, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen hereby authorizes the mayor of the town of Mount Carmel, upon the advice and consent of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, to enter into interlocal agreements with neighboring municipalities for providing joint recreation programs, acquiring equipment and facilities and the use of such programs, staffing such programs, and doing all things incidental and necessary thereto for the purpose of conducting a recreation program. So, if this is the interlocal agreement, then this would be the controlling document, but I don't, having never seen it before today,
When Josh called me from the city of Mount Carmel,
Mr.
I mean,
Russell.
Churchill,
Yeah.
he told me that I had, that I could appoint who I wanted to.
Well, and the code doesn't say you can't. Our municipal code doesn't say that you can't.
That may be an upgrading too. After that, what he's got in his hands. I did have a copy in it. I had it at the meeting.
It does state that it's a 4-year term. But then it says, or until their successor is appointed. So, I mean, the language isn't necessarily very specific as to what that means.
And that's what, when I said to Josh, he told me, he said you're the mayor and you can appoint them.
I would like to talk to him and look more into it to know exactly where we're at, just to make sure we're not doing anything improperly. That's not to say anybody's right or wrong, I just haven't looked at this until today. And to make sure that we've got a current version of the interlocal agreement. Will there be a meeting of the Recreation Commission before our next board meeting?
The way it's been being
Yes,
in the
sir, we want
past,
that,
it's just
January
hit
the
or miss.
what? 13th, I think. January 13th. Yeah.
January 13th.
Wouldn't it be better just to table this till the next meeting? Give you enough time to check it out, find out?
I mean, I guess, I don't know what business they'll be doing at the January 13th meeting of the commission, you know, if it's vitally important or not.
And he called me back after Dennis Gill came in and talked to him.
Right.
And he said, you've got the sole discretion.
Stephen, were you or Alderman McLean, I'm sorry.
It's fine, either one.
Were you serving a new 4-year term? Because I may remember incorrectly, so correct me if I'm wrong. Or were you serving in replacement for the remainder of past Alderman Christian's 4-year term? You know?
Well, I had to take Alderman Christian's place, but I don't know whether his,
I don't know
whether he had served 4 years, and
I don't know how it runs either. So, and I don't know if that matters. It may be anytime somebody new comes on, they get 4 years. I don't really know.
Right.
Because I haven't read it all fully, but
which I would have got you that earlier, but I just found it today myself.
you're fine. You're fine. That's not a problem. I certainly don't want to step on your toes, Mayor.
That's all right.
But it may be worthwhile to let me make some calls, talk to
Please.
Mr. Russell,
Yeah.
Mr. Deal, and I might speak to, their attorney down there as well, William Phillips, who I know fairly well, and see if we can just know for certain where we're at, and it may,
Cause he did call me back and said I had the sole discretion
And
and
I
I could
don't-
put people in.
I don't
but
doubt that
that-
one bit, because the way it reads
Right.
in our municipal code, it suggests that. Cause some of the committees and commissions do require, they require certain things. The problem here, and y'all won't be able to see this, but your Recreation Commission chapter in our code, we got a subsection 2-101, then we've got subsections 2-102 through 110, they're all deleted. So it was likely far more robust and gave us more guidance at some time in the past than it does now. But right now, we just have a little blurb to go off of here, and then this ordinance. And so, let me dig into the ordinance,
Mhm.
make sure that we're operating off the newest version. I'll talk to Mr. Russell, I'll talk to Mayor Deal, I'll talk to Attorney Phillips. We'll come back next month and we'll have a full understanding of everything.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, thank you so much.
We'll table this then, right?
Yes, Mayor. Well, we have a motion and a second, so,
Go ahead and vote on it.
I was gonna say, we could make we could amend the motion and make it a motion to table instead. Who made our motion initially?
John.
Darby. I made a motion.
Okay. Would you like to do that? I mean, I can't make you, so.
You say there is a meeting coming up before our next meeting?
There's a January 13th meeting, from what I've been told.
Well, who will we represent us in for that?
We'd have our same representatives for that meeting, and then we could discuss it at the January BMA meeting.
You talking about the same representative, is that Stephen or?
This would be Stephen currently, because the new appointees have not been voted upon.
I'll be fine with doing table it then, that way you can find out for sure what to do there.
So, as I understand, Alderman Patrick would like to amend his motion to table this until the next meeting, and then we'll need a second on that motion as well.
I'll second that.
Then we'll need to vote.
Okay.
We need to vote on that, Mayor.
Pardon?
We need to vote on that motion to table, or to postpone, I should
Okay.
say.
Start down with Mindy.
Alderman Andy Flushour,
Yeah.
Alderman John Gibson,
Yes.
Alderman Jim Gillum.
Yep.
Alderman Stephen McLean,
Yes.
Alderman Darby Patrick,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Teresa Moss,
Yes.
Mayor Pat Stillwell.
Yes.
And I apologize for throwing the wrench in everything.
Well, that's all right, because, I mean, you know,
I've asked about this before, but I've never seen it, and I haven't pushed real hard to get it, so. couldn't
well, I
do
just
that.
went by what Josh Russell told me, so.
And I think that I've heard similar things from their attorney as well, but I just wasn't sure, so.
That's fine, okay. Well.